Hello friends, and welcome back to my Pokemon Black 2 Nuzlocke. What are we doing? Oh, we just caught the bug, bro. Do we go back and get him? Nah, fuck it, that takes too long. We're gonna just, move on through the cave. So I know that the eel motherfucker is in this cave, and I know Bug Bro. I don't know if Magneton is in here. Ideally, Magneton will not be in here, which will make me feel better about, not finding him on my... on my first encounter. He probably isn't actually, because Magneton was in the the other area. What other area am I talking about? The one underneath the first gym, you know, the construction area. I believe that's where Magneton is found. I think that this is the... Oh god, the burps. This is the area where if you evolve Magneton, if you level up Magneton, then he will evolve into Magnezone. They always add these areas. Once they started this mechanic in Gen 4, I believe, where excuse me, where if where there's a certain Pokemon who evolve to a final form, to a third stage evolution, only if they level up near a certain area. So, for example, in that generation, there was Glaceon and Leafeon, which only evolved if you leveled up an Eevee next to a certain stone in the world. And in every subsequent generation, they always added that same area. Like, not the same exact area, but like a stone or like an area that has a similar effect. So for Magnezone in Gen 4, it was like on top of this mountain where there were a bunch of electric things. So in this generation, I'm guessing it's going to be in Chargestone Cave. Like, I can't think of another, like, more suitable place than this. I should really not be using Frank in this area because he's 4 times weak to electric. Let's take a look. Electro Ball doesn't do shit to me. How much does Rock Tomb do to you? I don't think this one-shots, but this thing is fairly fragile. Okay, it doesn't one-shot, but not too bad. Oh god, the phlegm. A buddy of mine was telling me that he had a chest cold today. I've heard this word thrown around from time to time, like chest cold or head cold. I never understood what it meant. He said that it's because all his symptoms are kind of like throaty, you know, it feels like phlegmy and like coughing and sore throat, that sort of thing. But none of the upper head symptoms, such as like runny nose or sneezing, or I don't know what other symptoms there are that are just in the head. I feel like sore throat, cough, and runny nose is like the standard for pretty much all of the cold symptoms. Me personally, I actually don't get any of those things when I get a cold most of the time. I actually get severe constipation and like bloating, even more than usual. Like, once again, you know, of course, it's a bowel related problem, but I get that, and then I also get like really fatigued, but usually with no fever. And I never get a cough. Like, I've never once in my life had a cough due to a cold. I had tonsillitis a few times in my life, where it's basically just an infection of your tonsils, and that gave me a fairly bad cough. But those were the only real times I had it. Like, occasionally you hear me like do the grunt cough that I do to clear my throat. I don't know if that counts. I don't think it counts. Like, the cough is like, when I had the cough due to my my infection. Yeah, this is the thing I was talking about, Pharaoh Seed. I'm glad that we didn't run across this thing. I'm not going to fight it. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention about why this Pokemon is good is that it has an ability called Steel Thorns? Steel Barbs? Steel Thorns? Steel Thorns, I think. Where every time you make contact with it, so make contact is basically just certain moves touch your opponent, certain moves do not. And you just have to know them. Most of them are intuitive, some of them are not. But, like, for example, all the moves are like punching based or like kicking based, like that sort of thing. Those, I'm gonna take off my bike actually, because it seems like this is an area that requires some precise movements. This is the eel motherfucker that I was talking about, Tynamo. It's a 3-stage evolution, and it's pretty good. It's like a it's a it's a fairly slow but fairly tanky Pokemon that has a good move pool, and that's pretty much all you're really looking for when you're looking for what you want in a good Pokemon. So it's definitely very usable. Oh, Drover. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's definitely very usable, very serviceable Pokemon, and also it has the ability to levitate, which makes it immune to ground type moves, and also immune to anything that only works if you're touching the ground, like spikes and toxic spikes, that kind of thing. So it's a really good ability because it's basically a Pokemon with 0 weaknesses, and it has a decent move pool. You know, it has a electric stab, and it learns, I think it learns Surf, and then I know it learns Flamethrower for sure. That's like one of its calling cards. And it also learns like Grass Knot. So you get you get really good coverage with it. The only problem, of course, is that it's slow and it doesn't hit hard enough to make up for that fact. So it's relegated to be like only mediocre. It's never going to be a star player on any team. Oh god, my nose is all stuffed up. I had some Tabasco for dinner. That always gets my nose running. I don't know what the science is behind that. I'm sure somebody out there knows, but yeah, this is the sort of thing that I hope to find out when I head over to med school. Well, not this sort of thing specifically, but I've always had a fascination with the human body and trying to figure out why things work the way they do. Does this push down? No, it doesn't. So I always figured out. I figured that med school was a good fit for me. You know, I went through my high school and undergrad career prepping for that basically, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all my science classes. Those were usually the ones that I did best in, and I had electricity, humans, ideal place. But okay, what the fuck was that? Is that my friend, the Yanis or whatever? I don't know her real name. Yeah, we're not fighting any of these guys because they're annoying and they don't give a lot of experience, so it's not really worth it. Oh god, the indigestion, I feel it. Yeah, I always wonder things like this. Like, mainly, I remember the first moment where I really wanted to know why these things are is that, you know, as a child, I was always told that if I went out in the cold, or if I went out with, what the fuck, it's a triple battle? It's messed up, man. If I went out in the cold, or if I went out in, oh, it's like a legitimate triple battle. Okay, we're gonna kill this. This guy can hit everything, so we're gonna kill Pheasant. Bambino is gonna Horn Leech the shit out of Sandslash. Okay, sure, no problem. As you'll see, this is not that interesting. I like that animation a lot, just 2 antlers coming out. As a kid, I was always told that if I... Is there anything on my team that's weak to ground? No, not at all. Okay. If I ever went outside with wet hair or, you know, wet anything, then I would catch a cold. And I always thought that this was like a bullshit thing for that people just made up, because it just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, why? Like, a cold is virus based, you know, like that you have to catch it from somebody. Why would going out in the cold make any difference there? Holy shit, this might be scary. Okay, it's fine. It did half my health, which is more than I want, but it's a stab super effective move, so that should be about right. And especially because everything's level 33. Like, you see how little experience I'm getting for all this? Like, does that seem worth to you? Because it doesn't seem worth to me. Oh, good job. Oh, wait, no. Zoroark also took, like, half his health from that. That ain't cool, dude. You can't just do that. Okay. Oh, no. Horn Leech, Sandslash. Will this kill? I suspect that it will. Yeah, it did. It was a crit, but I don't know if that crit mattered. I don't think it did. Why is Cheryl damaged? Probably from the previous battles. Okay, good job. You heal up a little bit on your own as well. Not too bad, not too bad. So you can see how bulky Sandslash is on the physical side. You know, that was a stab super effective grass type move. Miracle Seed boosted as well. You know, I have that item that boosts grass type moves, and even then it wasn't enough to take down the might that is Sandslash. It's very physically defensive Pokemon. Do I do this? Yeah, this is what I do. I'm stupid. Oh, Magnet, that's cool. This is the item that boosts electric type moves. It's basically just the analog to the Charcoal, the Miracle Seed, the Mystic Water. Oh god, the phlegm, it hurts. Anyway, yeah, I was always really indignant about this because as a child, I had a few pounds on me. I was pretty pudgy. So I was always really warm, like very, very warm. So I never liked wearing jackets. And my parents would like insist that if I don't wear this jacket, I would get sick. And I was really, really indignant about this. I was just like, there's no way. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to get sick. I still don't have a definitive answer on one way or the other. I hear whispers that the cold reduces the ability of the immune system to function because you have more energy is expended trying to warm yourself up or whatever like that. And then that's why, you're more susceptible to catching colds. But from other sources, I hear that that's just bullshit. Like, one of my high school biology teachers used to say that he thinks that the reason why this myth was perpetuated is that people would always get sicker during winter. What? They just give me nuggets? I mean, I'm cool with that, yeah. Oh, what nice guys. Why did they just give that to me? Okay. I mean, I'm always happy about free nuggets. This is the highest selling item in the game, I think. Which is still not that much. It's like 5,000 Poké Dollars? I don't know. I think it's around that much. Yeah, so he said that the reason why people thought that the cold made them sick is that people would get more sick during winter. And then he's just like, yeah, like that's just a classic case of correlation is not equal to causation, because he said that the real reason is because during winter, since it's cold outside, nobody wants to go outside, so more people are trapped in more enclosed spaces. And air circulation is also worse because you close off the outside in order to maintain the heat. So he said that the reason why people got more sick during winter is that, maybe one sick person would be there. And normally that one sick person would infect, like maybe one or two other people because everyone's walking around, there's a big distance between everybody, and air circulation is good, so the bacteria doesn't just stagnate in the air after you like sneeze or cough. But in winter, everyone is always inside, and there are more targets to spread to, number one, and also because circulation is worse, it's easier for it to spread. That was his theory anyway. Of course, I'm not sure whether that is also correct. But I remember I watched a video from this great channel called Healthcare Triage, who basically what he does is he's a pediatrician in Indiana. No, in Indiana. He's a pediatrician in Indiana who just tries to present medical knowledge using peer-reviewed research sources. And he said that in terms of the mechanism behind the cold and the immune system, he didn't explain anything about it. He didn't even touch upon it. But there were many studies, or at least one study, that showed... Okay, is this a doctor? I hope this is a doctor, because then he can heal me up. Yeah, he's a doctor. Okay, perfect. There was at least one study that showed that being in the cold does not actually reduce immune system function, and rather actually increases immune system function. This is a study where I believe what happened is they got a bunch of subjects to come in and get sneezed on by a sick person. Either they get sneezed on by a sick person, or they got injected with a cold virus, or like an active cold virus. I can't remember what it was. It was definitely something like really weird like that. Like, of course, these participants get paid. And what happened was there were participants that were put in regular room temperature, and then also participants that were put into like cold temperatures, like I think like 10 degrees Celsius or 5 degrees Celsius. I don't remember the exact numbers, but basically they got put into those places. I don't remember if they got sneezed on first or sneezed on after being exposed to the cold, but either way, they found that there were more people, like a significant difference in the number of people that got sick after being warm rather than being cold. And they found that more people got sick after being warm than after being cold. So if anything, he said that it's very possible that the cold actually boosts immune system function, at least if it's a temporary cold. I'm not sure if that is like a before-after sort of thing. I don't even know if that actually matters. But it was definitely not like exposure to cold consistently. It was not like a bone chill sort of thing. Like, it's very different, that situation, than being like trapped in cold clothing, wet clothing for like hours on end, and your body can't get warm at all. But this was like the kind of exposure, I believe. I think it was like 1 hour or 2 hours. I would watch that video if you can. I hope I'm not like misrepresenting stuff here. But basically, they said that they found they found that the cold for sure does not reduce immune function. It may actually even increase it, but because they don't really have a theory for why it would increase it, it could just be like, it just could be like a sample size thing, or it could just be that like a, well, it's not coincidence because it was a significant difference, but it could be like various other factors. They don't have like a full explanation ready, and a lot of the times in science that is the case. And, you know, that's the sort of thing that I've always been interested in. I've always wondered whether, like, classic Chinese medicine principles have any merit. You know, a lot of the time I was told when I was a teenager that my acne was due to having too much inner fire. You know, Chinese medicine divides everything into, like, the 5 elements. And a lot of it, like, I heard from my uncle that a lot of it is, like logic-based sort of thing. Like, why does one procure another, and why does one destroy another? It's sort of just like logical that these things would counteract each other or stuff like that. But I was always told that acne was because I had too much fire, and I never understood what that meant because I don't really understand what too much fire means. I used to be very, very dismissive of Chinese medicine in general. You know, I always thought that it's something that the principles don't make any sense. They're not science-based. They're not experimental, or they're not they're not, just basically they're not science-based because there's no research that goes in behind it. But you know, I do recognize that there are a lot of things that we still don't understand about the body. Even like Western medicine has many things that they don't understand about the body, and then a lot of the times these remedies are done through, you know, thousands of years of experimentation. Sometimes I feel like even if the medicine works, the reasoning behind it may not be correct. Even though I don't know if the reasoning behind it was what developed the logic for making the medicine the way it was to begin with. I do recognize that a lot of the times the medicine works where Western medicine does fail. You know, a lot of the times when I'm sick, I'll look to Chinese medicine, try some herbal remedy, and it will help. You know, like sometimes it really will help, and there's no real explanation of why, and I'm okay with that because I feel like a lot of the times, even if it is just a placebo effect, does it really matter as long as it helped, right? Okay, so that's useless information to me. Let's go up first. I don't want to go down before I go up. Yeah, so like especially one of the things that my dad always said is that he tore his meniscus in his knee quite a few years ago. Oh no. Oh, hope you guys didn't hear that one. That one hurt a little bit. Oh god. Not the meniscus in his knee. He did do that, but this isn't unrelated. He had an ache in his shoulders ever since he was a kid, and he always attributed this to one afternoon when he was camping with his brothers. He had the bed closest to the door, and somebody left the room without closing the door all the way. So he said that that night the chill got into his bones, and after the chill got into his bones, they've never been the same. You know, they've always ached. And he said he had this pain for 20 years. He used to go to like massage and like try to take medicine for it. And then he found this herbal remedy, which was, oh, this thing is sturdy. Shit. Oh god, this might actually kill me. Oh, okay, not even close. I underestimated Cheryl by a lot, actually. Maybe I just overestimated Tortuga. Maybe this thing is actually just garbage. That's the more likely solution. That's the more likely answer, to be honest. I don't think I should have stayed in. I don't resist fire. How much does the fire type move do against me? Let's take a look. Hopefully he has fire punch and not like flamethrower. Flame burst, that's physical, right? Oh god, that does way too much damage. Alright, we're gonna switch out to Frank. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so he got this herbal remedy that he just showed us this year. It's basically like made of jalapenos and egg white. And you know, this is a well-known phenomenon that the capsaicin in spicy peppers actually relieves pain. I used to know the exact mechanism behind it. It has to do with your pain gates. Like it has to do with your nociceptors, your pain receptors, and how they how they process pain and other stimulus, something along those lines. But yeah, that actually cured it for good. And to me, this was one of those things that was a little bit strange to me, because I do know that hot peppers relieve pain, but they don't fix any underlying problems. It's really just sort of a nerve thing where it makes you feel better in the moment. It's the same reason why we do hot and cold packs. There was another reason for this, or like why you rub your arm after you feel like it got hurt. Adding another stimulus on top, like your receptors can only process one type of stimulus at once, and what happens is if you either overload all the gates, or you you make it process something else, then you actually don't feel the pain. But that doesn't mean the injury is healed. So I think a lot of it is, like, of why he feels better has to do with just him believing that it would help, because this was a very, very volatile solution. Like, it when you put it on your skin, he said that it hurt so much that he could only stand like 10-20 minutes of it, and afterwards, like, his skin was all red because it was agitated, but it felt a lot better. And I totally believe that it would feel better, but I wouldn't understand why it would feel better to the point where it cured like a 20-year-long systemic injury, And I feel like it really doesn't matter whether or not that it's a legit solution or not, because at the end of the day, his shoulders don't hurt anymore. So who am I to say, oh, this is not scientifically based, this is not legit if it worked where other things have failed. Well, what a piece of shit! Why would it do this? I just heard the doorbell. I hope someone else is getting that, because I'm busy recording. After we beat this trainer, that's probably where we're gonna end the episode. Yeah, so I've always been fascinated with Chinese medicine and their remedies, because mainly it's just that I don't really understand them, and I have been burned a lot of the times by Chinese medicine, and a lot of my family members have as well, because it's the sort of thing where no matter what happens, you can't say that the medicine did not work, because their logic is always, this is a natural remedy, natural meaning just made of herbs. This is another rant for another time, but I don't really put any stock into being natural. I don't think that means jack shit. But basically, they say that since it's a natural remedy, it takes time to take effect. So let's say that you take the medicine for the prescribed time. Let's say the medicine, you're supposed to take it for a week, and it doesn't work after a week. The logic is then, well, everybody is different, and these herbal remedies work differently for everybody, which is true. Medicine does work differently for everybody, but they'll say you just need to keep taking it. And if you take it for a year every day and it doesn't work, they'll just say you need to keep taking it. It's the sort of thing that recovers slowly over time. You can't expect it to work overnight. And this is my problem. This is my main problem. It's nothing to do with its effectiveness or not, but when you are taking something consistently for months or for years, your body naturally gets better on its own. You can't even say that it is the medicine, because over a time period that large, how can you say that it was the medicine that cured you? It could have just been that you healed on your own. It could be a change in your environment, or it could be a change in anything else that you do. Of course, each person knows differently. Maybe something was like you've had this problem for your entire life, like my constipation, for example, and you've tried many things and none of them have worked, but then suddenly after you try this one remedy, you tried for a year and it helps. Maybe it is because of the remedy, but I feel like because it took so long to work, it's just very dubious to me whether or not it really was the medicine or it was just your own body's healing properties. Anyway, that's basically just my 2 cents about... Oh, nice. Oh. Okay, sure. Give me an HP up. I feel it. Sounds good. I thought he was going to give me a TM. There's something in the trash can. Nice. This is the first trash can present I found. Good stuff. Okay. Sounds good. So, that's where we're going to cut it off at the end of this episode. As always, if you enjoyed the episode, I'd appreciate a like and comment rating. There will be another episode up tomorrow, but for now, I'll see you next time.